my time, faster than ever, hungry and I'm going to come back and take what is mine, bigger and better. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. Some things are different, but nothing has changed. Still got my number, still got my name. Tell everybody I'm back in the game. Saddle, cut to the chase. I ain't somebody who stays in one place. Ready to go, I'm coming to play. You better know I still got something to say. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. Some things are different, but nothing has changed. Still got my number, still got my name. Tell everybody I'm back in the game. match I couldn't handle. No one else could ever hold a candle. Get ready for a battle, cause you know that I was born for this. I was born for this. Never met a match I couldn't handle. No one else could ever hold a candle. Get ready for a battle, 'cause you know I was born. I tell you I was born for this. Ain't nothing gonna stop me now. I was born for this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Major Series presented by Majors Garage for the American Sportsman Bracket. We welcome you to coverage of iRacing on LSRTV, simulcast on the Community Radio Network. Happy Sunday to you. We also pause and observe 9/11, the 21 years ago when our country and our world and the United States changed. We pause, we reflect, and we never forget for sure. We're glad that you're able to join us here on this Sunday evening. I am Wesley Outland, joined alongside is Brockton Packard. Hopefully our buddy Mr. Terry Radford can get better. He was supposed to be joining us in the broadcast booth tonight. However, he is under the weather, and so Brockton and I are solo here for you this evening. We're going to go truck racing. Should be a fast 64 laps, 250 miles for round number 11 of the American Sportsman Major Series here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Brockton, I bring you to the fold now, bud. We're truck racing, we're road course racing. It's going to be an exciting, fun time, I believe, here. And if everything goes quickly, it should be a fast race, but it should also be a very exciting race because this is a road course that has so many unknowns and crazy things can happen here.
I couldn't agree more, Wesley. As we're looking at some of these trucks going around this amazing Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, there's a lot of things that these drivers have to look out for. The elevation changes as we're going under the Continental Bridge, down a huge downhill left-hander. That's going to be hard for the drivers. As long as they keep their noses clean and keep themselves out of trouble, they'll be pretty good for the entire race. There's no green, white checkers. There's a couple sets of tires, and you just got to put your head down and run your own race, because if you start racing people, that's when you're going to start making mistakes, Wesley.
Yeah, we're going to go 250 miles, 64 laps around the road course here. That is the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park for the Chevrolet Silverado Canada 250. Again, they're driving these Ford F-150, Toyota Tundra, and Chevy Silverado trucks of their choice. Cautions are off tonight, which means when they drop the green, we're going. It will be a rolling start, not a standing start. And then, of course, maximum practice laps are 30. Target split size is 36, so we're looking to try to start up to 36 trucks. And again, 64 laps, 250 miles here around the track that is the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Let's take a look at the weather conditions on the bottom right of your monitor as we get you set here for the race. It is 79 degrees. Track temp at 79 degrees. Atmosphere is, of course, at 70% humidity. You've also got partly cloudy conditions. Clear right now, sun poking out. Track temp at 100 degrees. Wind speed 14 miles an hour. That wind, Brockton, what kind of havoc do you think it's going to have on the trucks here?
With these trucks and how big and boxy they are, especially with how tall this cab is, with the 10-mile-an-hour wind speed, braking and turning into some of these low downforce corners, as some of the open-wheeled people would say, is going to cause a little bit of tail happy or maybe a little bit of pushing tight on these trucks. Not to mention the dirty air behind another truck into some of these long sweeping corners. It could cause some havoc and maybe some extra problems with somebody already having a bad day.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We'll keep an eye on that as we approach what will be the final 6.5 minutes of this practice session leading up to the race. Now, I'm understanding that they've already qualified. The lineup is set. This is just basically the final practice warm-up session before we do get them gridded to go for the rolling start. That will be 250 miles, 64 laps. Hold on there. Truck number 84, Dog Bear Racing, going off the track there just for a moment. That was Richard McClure in the 84 machine. Comes right back on course for Dog Bear Racing. And by the way, speaking of the point standings, we'll set that stage for you real quickly for the American Sportsman. It is a 69-point lead over Nathan Medina. That is David Gargaro Jr. Vengeance Motorsports are 1 and 2 right now for the championship point standings. Maurice Goatmillion sitting in third. Murphy Nichols in the top 4. They're both from Forge PC Racer Sport 1. And then again, Mad Sim Racing right there, 5th and 6th. Andrew Kotska, Cody Richardson, and guys on the outside looking in, including with Richardson, are Chris Yedio, Doug Bachman, as well Robert DeLoach and Joseph Homan. That's the American Sportsman national standings. Looking at the Legends standings for American Sportsman, Maurice Goatmillion for Forge PC Racer Sport 1 is still the points leader over his teammate Robert DeLoach, 43 back. Brian Scribner is in third for High Class Racing, 298 back. 344 back is Mad Sim Racing, Roger Shank. Stephen Paulison for Sector 5, 349 back. And then it's Ernie Ludwig, Mark Rediker, Jason McSparron, Robert Covey, and Don Dawson, the top 10 for the American Sportsman Legend. And finally, for the American Sportsman Team Championship, Mad Sim Racing has a 156 points gap on Forge PC Racer Sport 1. Vengeance Motorsports is way back at 427, and then almost 1,500 points or more back from third on back to the top 10 for Alex Frank. Howler Racing, the top 5. High Class Racing, Dog Bear White. Of course, Evolve Sim Sports Academy, Sector 5, and Forge PC Racer Sport 1 is in second. Sport 2 rounds out the top 10. So, yeah, there's your look at the point standings and the way that everything can go here, Brockton. And again, you really never really know what can happen with the point shakeup. But for the most part, it looks like if the guys up in front can have solid runs here on the road course today, Brockton, they got a good shot to come right here going into Martinsville in 2 weeks.
Absolutely. These guys just have to keep all 4 tires on the island and keep it clean, and they'll have a pretty good shot at getting some more points tonight.
And somebody that is joining us is a man that has won here in the past for the Northwest Racing Series for Cup and Truck, former champion at that. He is in the Cup playoffs. He is not in the Truck Series playoffs this year, but the driver of the LSRTV Sierra 4K Ford out of Billings, Montana, knows how to get around Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. He's crashed and even won here. Jeff Stabnow, welcome to the program, man. What do you think we're going to see these trucks do tonight here at CTMP?
Well, first of all, that's quite the introduction there, Wesley. Thanks a lot, man. I haven't won in this league, so this league has a whole bunch of guys that there's a lot of road racers in this league. So, you know, I beat a bunch of us left turners there in the NASCAR league on this, but I think you're going to see a lot of better drivers here in this league than you see with us.
Well, you've won here before, though. What's it going to take to be one of these guys on the Major Series American Sportsman bracket to get around here and survive this place, especially since we know there's not going to be yellow flags. Cautions are turned off. I mean, it's going to be a grind from the green to the checker.
Well, it's gonna be tough. I know these guys. They've put a lot of work in. This is an open setup league, which makes this a little bit better. So you're going to see a lot of different guys with different setups out here. I think you're going to see a lot of guys with different gearing out here, and maybe it's going to come down to what style you prefer. I mean, you've got a lot of high-speed corners here, so you know, you probably see a lot of guys are going to set this up to handle the high-speed corners, and maybe they're going to struggle a little bit there on corners like Moss's corner, like I've done in the past, where maybe you don't quite have the truck set up for that corner. It's tough, right? Because you know, that's going into this huge straightaway, and that's probably one of your prime passing opportunities, so you really want to get off that fast. The hard part, I think, is keeping the rear tires underneath you. If you've got it set up there and geared a little bit low so you can accelerate out of that corner well, you're going to want to tend to blow the tires off. And you do that a few times, and pretty soon you're doing that every time. So I do think Moss Corner is a big one there, watching how these guys, who's set up to make the passing opportunities coming out of there and take advantage of that long straightaway, versus maybe who's set up a little bit more for the higher speed corners and looking to maximize that.
Brockton, what you got for Jeff Stab now? He's our special guest before we go to green.
Yeah, Jeff, you talk about getting set up for the exit of these high-speed corners. Kind of talk to the viewers here about how the entry to the corners, that braking distance and the braking stability is going to be a huge factor tonight.
Well, obviously, the longer you can stay in the throttle, the more time you're going to save, right? If you can brake a little bit harder, faster. But you've got to watch a lot of things there. Depends on, you've got to make sure you're not diving that splitter into the pavement. That's a big thing. You've got to make sure that you've got your brake bias down so it's not wanting to get loose. Sometimes maybe on these higher speed corners, we're wanting to help turn a little bit, so we'll run that brake bias back and maybe help it turn a little bit with that brake bias. But then you start getting into those low speed corners where you got to brake hard, and that's totally different. You'll spin out there. I think the biggest thing for getting into some of these corners, though, is maybe the gearing, just whether or not you're going to downshift or not, because if you're downshifting into these corners, you're usually going to be faster coming out. You've got the RPM, so you're in your power band range there. But downshifting on some of these corners can be real tricky. If you don't rev match just perfect, all it takes is one, and you're gone. You're spinning out. You're off the track if you don't rev match that quite right. So for me, the complacency of a course like this, where you kind of just get used to doing these high-speed corners, and you're doing a little bit of shifting in there, and then you just kind of lose focus a little bit, and the next thing you know, you shift wrong, and you're off the track.
Well, Jeff, you going to hang out with us for a little bit, buddy, or are we going to let you go here? We're about to go racing, man.
It's totally up to you guys. I can stick around with you for a little bit.
There you go. We'd love to have you. The trucks are grinning. We're about ready to go for, of course, round number 11 on September 11th for the Major Series presented by Majors Garage. Here's the starting lineup for the American Sportsman bracket of the 2022 Canada Chevrolet Silverado 250 here at Canadian Tire. Nathan Medina will be on the pole with the number 2 to the outside. David Gargaro Jr. Stranglehold for those two in the points. They'll make up row 1 here in Canada. Row 2 will find Andrew Kotska, the 047, to the outside. Another driver in the top 5 of the points, Cody Richardson in 064. Row 3, Murphy Nichols in the 55 to his outside. Another driver solid in the point standings. A threat to watch here, 044, Maurice Scomillion. Row 4 will find Jeff Caradami in the 315. Caradami in the 315. Richard McClure had some problems in practice. We'll see how the 84 shakes out for Dog Bear. And to round out your top 10, Chris Yedio in the 27. Nick Horvath in the 382 as the field rolls off pit road.
In row number 6, we've got Dino Villa in the 36 and Greg McKinney in the 35. Rolling off in row number 7 is the 235 of Robert DeLoach and Jason McCarson in the 22. Row number 8 is going to be the 295 of Kenley Dunk and Matt Gelner in the 69. The 944, Brett Thorson in row number 9 to his outside is going to be Daniel Salem Howard in the 74. Matt Selzner in the 93 and Don Dolson in the 040 in row number 10.
And we'll take the back of the pack, including row number 11. We'll find Brian Shrivner in the number 70. Jason Lottenridge will fire off in the number 3. Row number 12 will find Stephen Harkins in the 913. Stephen Paulison, sector 5, 058. Starts 24th. Row 13 will find by himself of 25 entries, Gerard Gilbert in the 73. 250 miles, 64 laps. It is almost go time here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park as we get ready for a start coming up here in just about half a lap or so. We await the green flag real quickly. We're at the top of the hour. We'll pause for 10 seconds of network identification on the Community Radio Network. Race time is next. Getting ready to go to green flag racing here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. The field has been racing around the pace car, and we are ready to drop the green flag. I'm Wesley Outland. We've got, of course, Brockton Packard alongside Jeff Stabnow joining us in commentary. Charles Wooten in the production crew for our coverage simulcast on LSRTV's iRacing on this Sunday night, along with the Community Radio Network. We're going to go again 250 miles. 64 laps. We will never see a caution flag, and this should be a very interesting race, especially when you throw in the factor of green flag pit stops. The pace car rounds the final turns. It makes the left-hand turn, scampers away from the field. Down the straightaway they come. And ladies and gentlemen, you have a virtual race. We're underway, round 11, the Major Series at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Medina gets a good jump on his teammate Brockton as they sell off into turn number 1 and 2.
Yeah, coming down into turn number 1 and 2, a big downhill sweeping left-hander. This could be really crucial if you're on the outside, as we see a couple cars get loose in the background, but all Medina and Gargaro Jr. 1 and 2 as they come into turn 3 and 4.
Couple of teammates 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 behind one another. Everyone all single file except for Nichols trying to power down to driver left and make a move for that spot on Richardson. I bring Jeff Stabnow back into the fold here on the opening lap. Jeff, one thing I mentioned before the drop of the green is green flag pit stops. How do you, as a driver getting around this place, have to maneuver and obviously pick what time you need to pit, but also have the strategy to be competitive, especially when it spreads out the field on this road course?
Well, I think a lot of that comes down to your driving style. I think a lot of your better drivers who do good with tires are going to work backwards. In other words, they're you know, as they start burning off fuel, they might even get a little bit faster. And so if they're able to maintain those tires and maybe actually even pick up a little bit of speed towards the end of the run, I would expect them to work backwards. Whereas some other guys, maybe that struggle with tire wear a little bit, might just trying to even the runs out a little bit, not you know, not get too bogged down with too much tire wear in any one of the runs. But the tricky thing, I think, on the green flag pit stops here, man, that pit road speed will kill you on this one. It is a short wind down period when you start pulling off pit road, and you've got to get slow real fast, and that's real tough to pit here at this place and not get a speeding ticket.
Yeah, for sure, and that's something mindful, Brockton, that you got to be also aware of. Like Jeff said, these pit stops. We watched, of course, Medina, Gargaro, Kotska, Richardson, and Nichols, your top 5, continue to parade around here. Teammates hooking up with one another, and obviously the teammates need to pit at the same time also, Brockton.
You know, on a track like, let's say, Talladega or Daytona, I would say 100% go with your teammate. Make sure you guys have that locked out 1-2. But at a place like this, a road course where we probably are going to see everything get spread out, as we're looking at what car is that? Is that the 90s? The 35 of Greg McKinney might have had a problem. But as we were saying, Wesley, I think to give everybody enough room, I wouldn't want to be on the bumper of my teammate coming into pit road. I would want to give him a lap, let everybody settle down, because on cold tires, at race pace, this could be an issue.
You're on board with Greg McInerney, of course, on the top left of the big screen, and on the bottom right is on board with Greg McInerney as he works his way around back to start-finish line. Already, believe it or not, working now lap number 2 completed on lap number 3. You gotta, it's kind of ironic, Jeff. I know this is a road course, but if you can knock off these laps really fast, I mean, these laps can go by quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it's really easy to get into a rhythm in this track, too. You know, you've got those high-speed corners. You know, you've really only got the one real slow-speed corner. I mean, there's a couple slower ones, but there's only one that's really going to jump out and bite you real bad on the slower speed. So it's really easy to get a rhythm here. And, you know, again, not pay a little bit of attention, and it definitely bites you on this. But laps seem to fly by, and this is one of my favorite road courses, I can tell you that.
One of the Dog Bear Racing entries of Brett Trossage. Truck is off the pace. He was in the top 10. Now he falls all the way back to the top 25, almost a spot to last. And again, Brockton, that's just something that you can't make these mistakes, because you could be up in the front and then all of a sudden just slide away, and that's what happened to Trossage.
Absolutely.
Understanding Andrew Kotska, by the way, fastest lap of the race. He's in third, Brockton.
Yeah, and Andrew ran 0.2 quicker than our leader, Nathan Medina, in that number 2 truck. But one thing I wanted to poke on quick with that 944 crash is that happened on this downhill corner. This in between 1 and 2, this hard downhill braking area. If you're a little bit offline, you hit the grass on the inside or outside, it's going to be hard to regather that truck, and you're going to lose a lot of spots, Wesley.
Yeah, we're about 3 laps completed right now, working lap number 4, and it's like all the teammates right there with one another of Medina Gargaro, Cody Richardson, 3 and 4. 5th on the outside looking in is Nichols by himself. Then you got a pretty good distance back to Kardami there in the 315 machine, and just kind of wheeling and dealing, working your way around all the corners of the racetrack and just settling yourselves in the early going of this race. And Jeff, I'll bring you back into the fold here. That's what you got to do, right? We got one truck in trouble. He's got some smoke coming from the back end of his machine. I believe that's Stephen Harkins in the 913 machine. Harkins with a big problem. He's in the back of the pack. Smoke bellowing from the back end of his truck. Will still stay under the green flag. Remember, as we said, no caution as his Ford has a lot of damage in that machine. Also now looking at the 55 of Nichols. He now starts to close in on Richardson. And that's actually going on the racetrack as all this is happening. Top 5 back to the start-finish line. But, yeah, Jeff, I mean, you know, again, as Lee said, you got to make good runs here. But the competition is also, you got to be on course. You got to stay the course. And you can't make mistakes in the early going because it will bite you down the stretch at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't want to lose spots. You don't want to have to try to overtake somebody on this course. Overtaking costs you time. If you can get out there, get up front, get out, you know, away from the pack, obviously you're in better shape. You know, any off course or, you know, incident like that's just going to kill you. It's just, especially with no cautions, right? You're not going to get that time back. You've got to drive that back, and that's really hard to do without any cautions. So no cautions, you know, mistake-free is critical here.
Coming up on lap number 11, we're going to have a silent lap, and obviously that is in homage and memory of the 21st, and I don't say anniversary because it's not an anniversary. It is a day that we'll never forget for 9/11, a remembrance of 9/11. So we'll let you know that there is a special truck that is honoring that paint scheme, and that is the driver of Murphy Nichols. We will have that truck in full display. You see the front of the truck right now for the Andy Fredericks Training Days entry. That is a tribute truck for 9/11. It is also a charity to support Andy's family. That's Andy Fredericks, who was an help-trained firefighter. And of course, we remember our fire, our rescue, our police, our military, the leaders of our country. Of course, also the brave men and women back that where we lost close to 2,500 brave souls and many lost great people. We also still pay respect and remember them. That's coming up on lap 11, as that is that 55 of Murphy Nichols' truck. We'll show a full lap of him and we'll go silent. But for right now, he is trying all he can now, Brockton, to close in on Richardson to move to that 4th spot, and even Kotska for 3rd as they work their way around the hill.
And that's what's worrying me with Murphy, is he's sliding these tires a lot the past couple of laps. We saw him lock up the front tires coming into Moss's corner. If he overheats these tires too quick in such an early run, he could be in deep trouble on a later run.
Now we got another truck around the 36 machine going southbound in a northbound in a southbound lane, and there goes the Forge Dino Vella entry, number 36. No harm, no foul. Kicks on going after his problems, and a little damage. Hard pressed to say, Jeff. I got to get your thoughts going into Auto Club tomorrow night for the. I know we got the major series here tonight at Canadian Tire, but your thoughts going into the playoff round 1 tomorrow night at Auto Club, and can we see you get that first win of the year at the racetrack?
Well, you know, I hadn't given it a whole lot of thought yet, but yeah, given round 1 of the playoffs, that would be a nice one to get a win in. I think Auto Club's always been a good track for me. It's, you know, Auto Club Michigan like that, got good history there. So, yeah, I'd say I've got as good a shot as any track as if I'm going to get a win. But sure, a lot of good drivers in that league that would I'd have to figure out how to beat in order to get there. But I think a track like Auto Club is really one of those that's kind of open to anybody. It's almost like a super speedway in some aspects.
Does that mentality change now for you for the first time in a while? You're not in both the Truck and the Cup Series playoffs, and you're not in the Truck playoffs. Obviously, you didn't make the Fast 12 on Thursday when we raced at Darlington, and they come up to Auto Club for round 1, of course, this Thursday as well. But can you focus more now on the Cup side of things now, since you know all you got to do is just go out and race and look for a win for the Truck side on Thursdays?
Not really. We still have a couple teammates in the Truck thing, and I think Dan and I built the majority of the sets. So I think I'll be working just as hard as those guys were on the trucks, just to make sure that we've got a good piece under them. So maybe they've got a chance to go out there and get a truck win in the playoffs. Though, so the team aspect of that's going to eat up just as much time as whether I'm in it or not on the truck side.
The Dog Bear Racing McClure entry, that's the 84. This is a battle going on for 9th and 10th on the racetrack as Horvath under attack, Brockton, as that truck of McClure is reeling him in there. The Lizard truck is in trouble.
Absolutely. McClure ran about 9/10 faster, if I'm reading that right, last lap. So he is on a move right now, just trying to get to the back bumpers. Whoa, had a car in the grass there. Don't know who that was. I think that might have been Dino in the number 36, Wesley.
That might be Dino Villa again. Dino Villa had some problems earlier, and we've already got trucks, believe it or not, only 10 laps in, already a lap down. So, yeah, there's Villa trying to get back up to speed. So he's already had 2 or 3 issues since this race has started. No doubt about it. I know he's ready to come down to the pit lane, take on a pit stop, and try to make some adjustments as well. Medina, Gargaro Jr., Kotska, Richardson, Nichols, Yedio, Panorami, Gromillion, Horvath, and McClure, the top 10. There's McInerney's truck again. He's in the number 12 spot. Truck number 35 going back now, Brockton, back into turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, this shot right here is going to be such a great representation coming up the hill into turn 1, down this sweeping left-hander. Got to keep it real close to the grass. Don't touch the grass. Take it all the way back out to the side. That huge elevation change gives you a lot of speed into 3 and 4 here. Definitely a very tricky section of the track.
Down the hill, up the hill, around the hill, and of course over the bridge, the Continental Tire Bridge. Working back into those sharp turns here comes a very nice sharp entrance of kind of like what is the carousel at Watkins Glen, and you got a sharp 45-degree angle turn to get back on that part of the race course. And Jeff, I got to bring you on board here again. You're on board with Greg McInerney. You're seeing him on the bottom right. You're looking at him on the front. He's got a VR headset on. How do you race differently with the full headset on compared to looking at a TV monitor in front of one of your iRacing rigs?
Boy, I don't know how to explain that, because I've been running the VR for so long. I struggle to get I think the immersion factor is just so much more. Now, they're a little bit buggy, and you have to deal with a few more issues, but just being able to look around the environment, it's pretty easy to forget that you're sitting in a virtual rig and driving. I mean, it's full immersion. I don't know how to say that any other way. If you've got the machine that can run it and you get it dialed in, and you don't have, some issues that come with that, from a racing perspective, I'd much rather race in VR. Now from wearing a hot helmet for 2 or 3 hours and all that perspective, well, I'd rather not have that big, heavy, hot headset on. But, I think, VR headsets are just help with the immersion.
And Deloach getting a little antsy in front of McInerney, and you see how fast he reels him in. That PC Racer entry of Deloach is under attack by McInerney to try to get back into the 11th spot. All this happening now as they work under the Mobile One Bridge. We are coming up on lap number 11. Let's find the 55 truck, of course, of Murphy Nichols. And we will, when he crosses start-finish line, right now, pause and remember and reflect 9/11. Again, we pause, reflect, and remember 21 years ago, the tragic days of 9/11. We continue to prosper and carry on as Americans, as our country, as men and women. And of course, though, on this day, we will never forget. We never forget Veterans Day. We never forget Memorial Day, even 4th of July, our nation's birthday. But for sure, definitely a date that we'll always remember. And, you know, just have thankfulness that we have the things that we have today still is our first responders, our men and women. And again, that truck is in honor of Andy Frederick's Training Days, and that's a charity support group for Andy Frederick's family in helping train upcoming firefighters, and a wonderful organization. So do your part if you want to help in making the donation. They have that tribute truck for 9/11. Pretty cool, Brockton, that they pay that homage and respect here, as we got a battle heating up now, going on in the top 20, I believe. It's Paulison and Liwang going at it for spots here on the racetrack. All of this happening now as they work up the hill, and for the most part, Brockton, a fairly clean race right now.
Yeah, so far so good for most of the drivers. We only have 2 drivers that are a lap or more down, but for everyone from 1st to 23rd, everybody stayed on the track fairly well and kept a pretty line as we're watching a nice little battle warm up here. I believe this is Richardson and Koska, P3 and 4.
Watching them fight that truck now, as that's Richardson in that battle. This is for 3rd and 4th. Kotzka in front of him. For the most part, it's only a half a second lead for Medina Gargaro. There's your leaders right up there in front of Richardson. He's got some pretty clear opportunity to run down these trucks. It's just can't make mistakes like that, though, Jeff.
No. I actually had a pretty good interest getting into that corner there. I thought he was looking pretty good, but just a little bit slow getting back to that gas there.
Got one out. The tires. Paulison, Sector 5 machine in trouble. And again, no caution. That is definitely not what you want to have happen. A lot of damage to that truck. You can literally see him trying to get back up to speed now. The Stephen Paulison rattles the tire barrier there coming off course.
Yeah, that was a solid hit to that left front. That definitely knocked the toe out. And whoa, look out. He's really fighting with that car, Wesley.
Got a battle headed up now for the number 3rd spot here at CTMP. Kotzka, Richardson, Gargaro, teammates now having a battle in the pit with one another. All of this happening in front of Nichols' truck as he's down to the inside. Driver left, making a move on Richardson. Kotzka under attack as well. Teammates trying to hold off Richardson and Nichols as they work around that corner there.
And Nichols is in a great spot right now as they come into Moss's corner. Just got to get a good exit as we're looking at the back of Richardson's vehicle. And, oh, he did not need that. Got a huge tail happy moment. And that, remember, Wesley, I was talking about it. He was punishing those tires early in the run. 7 laps later, and he felt the consequences on that one.
Jeff, which corner do you dislike the most? Because I don't like to use the word hate. Is it Moss corner or Quebec corner?
I gotta say it's Moss corner,
or even
man.
Clayton corner. Even Clayton corner.
I've run off at all of them. I got plenty of time sitting on the side of all those corners, but I gotta say Moss corner is easily the toughest one. Getting in there slow and then trying to get the power back to those rear tires without spinning them like we just saw Nichols do, and doing that for 64 laps, man, that is extremely difficult.
And Dino Vella going around and out for the 3rd time with a PC Racer entry number 36 all the way in the back, 1 lap down. And this battle of cat and mouse continues. Brockton working their way around the corners here. You're going to hear us use words tonight like Moss corner, Quebec corner. That's just because I asked Jeff which one he dislikes the most. Clayton corner, White's corner, the S's, the Mario Andretti straightaway. That's what they call the backstretch, if you will. All of that is going to be things we watch here tonight at Canadian Tire. As I think Dino Vella says, I've had enough. Oh,
27.
Around, Yeti-O. No harm, no foul, Brockton. Keep on going.
Yeah, I think he got lucky on that one. I'm trying to look at the splitter. It looks fine, so I think he just... What I think happened, he got those left side tires in the grass, put the power down, and it spun out. So no harm, no foul. Got to cool those tires down and just kind of keep on trucking.
Yeah, one of the guys took out our camera. Yeti there. Watching all this action going around here. Here's your replay of what happened.
Oh.
Yeti, wow, locks him up. All right, so Jeff, does he lock up the tires? Does that cause, you know, in real racing, we always say that you can, you know, obviously take the tires and you spin out, and obviously you can flat spot the tires. Can you do that in iRacing with these trucks or cars, Jeff?
So iRacing doesn't support flat spots, right? They kind of model the whole tire. So you don't have to worry about the flat spots on the tire in this, but you do have to worry about the heat, man. That'll put a lot of heat into these tires real quick. And, you know, you might be wishing they were flat spotted, so you had an excuse to come in and get some new ones there. So no flat spots, but definitely concerned with tire heat.
Yeti quickly on the binders as he worked his way around that sharp part of the racetrack. I want to say that was coming off of the Mario Andretti straightaway, heading back around to the S's, heading to the whites corner. He'll be finding start-finish line here is still Medina is the leader out in front. And Brock did pick a battle. There's actually going on all over this racetrack right now. Here's 15 laps in.
There is so much going on right now, and that's the great things about these road courses, in the just vast skill of these drivers. They're just all so very good in their own different ways. So you'll see these gaps accordion like crazy when you've got people like Nichols, who's very good under braking but has a tough time on exit putting that power back down, and Richardson. Those two have been going back and forth, and you've got all kinds of battles, and of course the solo battles of just trying to keep the car on the track.
That's third, fourth, and fifth right there with Kotska, Richardson teammates. Still got Nichols in hot pursuit behind them. Driver left, driver right, take a spot. That's going on in the top 5 of the racetrack. And again, a pretty heated battle. There's your top 2 up ahead. Top right of the monitor pulling away at Medina and Gargaro Jr. Jeff Stab, now I'd be hard-pressed to ask you this question. Are you a fan of the road courses, or do you like running the oval tracks?
Oh, looks like we have a, sorry, but just as you left that battle, we had a little pass
it's
there.
up. Yeah, look at this. Oh, he ain't no pass yet. It could be. Driver left. Nichols after Richardson. Not backing down. Now we'll split him. And he's right in the middle of that teammate sandwich there of the blue and yellow trucks of Gargaro and Richardson. Nichols will be, and he'll move up to third. But yeah, I asked that question. Do you like the road course racing? Obviously, we're seeing some pretty good racing right here. Or are you a fan of the roundy round stuff?
I'm probably a fan of the oval stuff, just a little bit. I'm better at it. I mean, I really think for me, you know, I don't spend a lot of time on road courses, so I have to work at it. I have to put a lot of work in to do a road course race. So it kind of, for me, I'm just better at the oval stuff. So, of course, I'm a fan. I can do that with less work. I do enjoy the road racing. You know, I've got some wins here doing this and that, but you just got to put a lot of work into the road course stuff, or at least I do, in order to be as good as some of the better guys. And so that makes it tough.
That's that battle continuing on for third, fourth, and fifth, Brockton, as we continue to see Richardson and Gargaro and Nichols battle. And here comes now a battle heated up inside the top 15. Yeti, problems earlier. He's under attack now by Sisler, reeling him in at 93.
Yeah, Yedio's got really hot tires, so it's impressive to see that he's been able to make such good work after that spin through 3 and 4 here. He's managed to kind of settle that truck down, and now he's pulling away from the 93, just trying to click off some laps as we're almost past 20 laps.
Well, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag or get in trouble here, boss, but the reason why I call Jeff Stab now boss is that people might not know, but since winter of last year, you purchased iRacing on LSRTV and with Rocket Media. I got to ask you, Jeff Stab now, what's your take of having the major series, American Sportsman, all year, being a part of coverage of the iRacing TV, iRacing on LSRTV broadcast banner of so many other great things we've covered this year so far.
Oh, so I've got some history with Mike, who owns the majors, runs the majors, and I've run into majors. It's probably, as far as I'm concerned, the premier series in all of iRacing. So I couldn't be even just any happier that we've got it here on LSRTV this year. I think for a while Mike was trying to talk me into taking American Sportsman, and I was afraid that we just couldn't do it justice, that we hadn't done enough road races and some of the other off stuff that maybe we weren't going to be prepared with some graphics or things like that. So we were a little reluctant to take it till we talked to some of you guys, and you guys were pretty anxious to have it too. So I think all the way around, we're just thrilled to have what I would consider to be the premier series in iRacing on LSRTV. Now, whether or not it's the European flavor or if it's the pro versus the Sportsman or whatever, it doesn't matter to us. I think one of the things about the majors is it's just always really good racing. It's well run, and they run so many different combinations of cars and tracks. It's just an amazing series, and so happy to have it on our channel.
Battle with Sisler and Yetio continues. At Sisler, the Apex Tech Ford in front of him. Chris Yetio for, of course, Ford's PC Racer, trying to make moves, driver right, driver left, trying to get something done, coming off of White's corner, back down to the start-finish line. 20 laps officially now into this race for round 11 of the Major Series, presented by Majors Garage for American Sportsman, as Jeff reiterated on. And Brockton, I agree with it. We go from Formula One cars to Austrian Grand Prix cars to, the dirt track cars, last race with the modifieds. Tonight you've got trucks. In 2 weeks you've got a Mimic iRacing version of the Valley Star 300 at Martinsville for NASCAR late models. I mean, this series provides such a plethora of iRacing entertainment that you can take and choose from as this battle now goes on for the lead. Medina and Gargaro back to turn one. But yeah, man, from Formula One to Indy cars to dirt mods to now trucks and late model pavement cars in 2 weeks on the 24th or 25th.
The Major Series is an absolutely amazing series that I've luckily been able to broadcast with you all and almost be a part of my first couple years on iRacing. The pure differences of month to month, week to week, driver to driver, there's so much competition. These guys are such great guys. It's a great community to be a part of. I'm definitely going to work my way up, and so hopefully being able to run this series next season, and then as well as maybe get my foot in there and get a win or two in there as well.
Starting to see some pit stops. Chris Yetio coming down to pit lane in the Forge 27. Forge PC Racer entry. Another couple of trucks involved in incidents earlier behind the wall. Vela has pitted. Of the 25 entries, 2 trucks on the pit lane. Obviously, I think Vela has maybe retired from the race. Harkins 4 laps down, and understanding Harkins is out, actually. So here we go. Trucks are leaving the pit lane. But I got to ask you this question as well, Jeff. What lap do you think will we start seeing green flag pit stops? If you know that this race is going to go 64 laps green flag, when do you see the leaders coming down? And would you want to try to mimic what the leader does and follow him, monkey see, monkey do, when they pit?
Well, so me, I'm maybe a little bit different, but if I'm the leaders and I have a decent sized lead, I'm probably going to stay out, and as long as I can until somebody starts eating away at that lead, and then wait to take my fresh tires. I know a lot of these guys again are going to work backwards. I'm not sure what the fuel window is. Obviously we know they could do at least 22 laps. I'm guessing it's somewhere around 28 to 30, but I really don't know. I haven't done this for a couple years in this truck on this course, so it'd be interesting. It looks like, judging by the strategy, maybe we had a couple guys come in that think they're going to two-stop it, and since everybody else is coming out, I would seem to me that maybe they're going to one-stop this, so maybe we'll see a couple of them here around 22, 23, 24. Maybe we'll see the rest of them around 30. It really depends on the fuel window. I can't tell you.
What are you thinking, Brockton?
You know,
You think you follow the leaders, or do you make your own strategy? And you got to remember, too, you're also racing the track as much as you're racing the trucks around you.
If it's me, I'm thinking more about the 4 tires underneath me than the 22 gallons of fuel behind me. I'm going to go as long as those tires feel good. If that means I'm going to have to split this up into 2 stints, then I'll split it up into 2. If I'm Medea and Gargaro, I'm running this thing until the tires fall off of it or I run out of gas, because they've got about a 4-second lead to Richardson and a 20-second lead to the 382 of Hervada in 6th. So they've got plenty of time to kind of figure out a strategy or figure out what their truck's doing, and then a no-pressure situation when they come into pit road. So I'm going to put my guess around 33 to 35 for the top 2.
And all the while, as we continue to see the 044 come after Horvath for the 6th and 7th position. Best battle on the racetrack is single file now. Lap 22 of 64. You know, you kind of hinted on closing in about less than 10 laps from now. Green flag pit stops. When do you make that sequence? And obviously, Jeff, I'm thinking here with the 64-lap race, 250 miles at this track tonight at Canadian Tire, you want to make 1 pit stop. Am I right? You don't want to make these 2 tire stops. I don't see anybody going for 2 stops.
Yeah, I think Brockton kind of said it better than I did. It really comes down to the tires underneath you, right? If you don't think you can make it around the track confidently with the tires that you have, right, if you're slipping and sliding everywhere, then you better come in and eat the 50 seconds or whatever it's going to take to pit. But, you know, if you're trying to win this race and you know that not everybody else is going to have to pit, then certainly that extra pit stop will cost you 40, 50 seconds. That would take you out of contention. So, you know, if there's a chance to 1-stop it, then you'd really like to be on that 1 stop, but you got to finish. You know, and so if those tires aren't there, then you've got to pit.
He's Jeff Staff down, Brockton Packard. I'm Wesley Outlet alongside our coverage of round 11 tonight for the Majors Series, powered by Majors Garage. And a man clicking the buttons, of course, is Charles Wooten, a.k.a. SpongeBob, and in the production booth right now, handling all the buttons and the bells. And again, a race that is, you know, very different than what we've seen from the previous event that was on the dirt mods. We got the pavement late model race, and you know, a lot of different varieties of iRacing classes you can choose from with the Major Series. And as a driver, Jeff, and Brockton, even you as a guy that's raced here in this series before, you got to be on your A game. You got to be the best. You've got to be able to figure out these different race vehicles, these different iRacing events, if you will, month after month, sometimes 2 times a month, to be there at the end to lock up the championship.
Driving in the Majors Series, like you said, with changing track and cars and everything like that, every month it causes an extreme amount of adaptability for these drivers, and every driver here has to put in the maximum amount of effort, the maximum amount of work to even make it here. So to compete well and everything like that, they are going on all cylinders all the time, figuring out what the best way around the track is. Wide goes the 387. Whew, that one was close one. 382, excuse me. That was a close one for him.
That's the lizard truck. I call him Horvath, the Team Evolve entry. It looks like a lizard coming at you, Jeff.
Yeah, that's a good call. Hey, I got a question for you, Wesley. You're kind of a historian of these things, man. No, the truck races, you know, you watch the real truck races there on the NASCAR. We've had some amazing finishes here at this track. Historically, some knockdown drag out. Seems like White's Corner is where it always happens.
Oh, yeah.
And every time I see those 2 leaders here, you know, it kind of reminds me of the, I think it was, 2018, where Gregson and Gilliland were the teammates and took each other out there on the last corner of the last lap.
Yeah, I got one jumping up off the grass there. But, yeah, Gregson and Gilliland. Dylan has one time had a little incident with some drivers on the racetrack. I remember when John Hunter Nemechek and him and John West Townley, God rest his soul, they got into it here at Canadian Tire. Cole Custer as well, yeah. And then I think of Jeremy Clements, and obviously his first career Xfinity Series win right here at Canadian Tire. He had to fight for it. And that was a very exciting moment. So, yeah, there's a lot of cool moments in history at Canadian Tire, and sadly, it wasn't on the schedule this year. Kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it's always been one of my favorite road races to watch. That's why I'm excited about this one. But never forget the Cole Custer, Hunter Nemechek one there, obviously.
Yes.
But, man, there's just seemed like there was a spate of great finishes here for several years in a row there, whether it was Chase Elliott and Ty Dillon or Hunter Nemechek or the two teammates getting each other. I think that was Gilliland and Gregson.
Yeah, I think our colleague says it best sometimes. Canadian Tire Motorsports Park is one of those places that, yes, it's a road course, but Brockton Packard, you can drive it like a short track, and sometimes you have a lot of full moon short track memories there at the end. Coming off of White's corner. Whoa, Yeti-O! Yeah, there you go. He saves it.
He's cooling the tires down.
Quickly on the binders there. And the 27 machine. Hey, let's give you another look at now Medina, the leader. All this happening now as he moves by lap trucks, it looks like, and all the while, in addition, staying on the lead lap, or staying in the lead, fighting lap traffic and trying to get around these back marker trucks is the top two, Medina, Gargaro. I mean, for the most part, Brockton, a pretty strong run for Team Vengeance right now. They're doing exactly what they need to do on the racetrack as we work closing in on 30 laps.
Couldn't agree more, Wesley. Team Vengeance is taking this race by storm so far, coming to about 4 or 5 more laps till halfway. They're actually coming up on Chris Yeti-O. That's why he was pushing so hard in that Quebec corner, just trying everything he can to stay on the lead lap, because you never know when something might happen to the leaders. They could get a 40-second penalty, and bam, you're right back in it. But
yeah, coming off of White's corner again, and Yeti-O on the tail end of the lead lap, as you mentioned, Proctor, and they're coming after him hot and heavy. And by the way, that will put only 20 trucks on the lead lap, as we're not even halfway yet here at Canadian Tire. Vengeance is on a vengeance here at this racetrack right now. The teammates of Medina and Gargaro. Jeff, I ask you, as we see more racing going on track, do you race your teammates differently than you race your competition?
Depends on how bad you need that win. Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, your teammates tend to be driving the same stuff as you are, so you certainly don't want to get on the bad side of one of them, because they can pay you back. You know, I think you work with your teammates, you're always going to cut your teammates a little bit of extra slack, but you know, when it comes down to the end of the race, you know, all bets are usually off.
Yeah. And look at this now. McClure, problems for the Dog Bear Racing truck earlier in practice. Now he has ran down the Lizard, working that truck going around the racetrack. Of course, this is for position on the racetrack right now of the top 10. That's Horvath and McClure going at it under the Mobile One bridge. Moving into Moss Corner and all these fancy turns, the S's here at this racetrack. I mean, this is such a fun place, Brockton. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, the twists and turns and windy roads of the Canadian Motorsports Park is such a fun track to run. When I see it on the schedule, anytime I'm in a league, I'm circling that date, trying to get a good finish there, because it's just such a fun track to run. Now, I want to talk about real quick that 382. He's been dropping back about a position every lap, and he is probably going to be looking at some new tires here in the next 2 laps. He's been just struggling with the rear end of that race car for about 5 to 10 laps, so we'll see if he'll come down in the next couple.
Yeah, the leaders right there, 1 and 2 for Vengeance of Medina, Gargaro Jr. They are literally setting the pace. And also, I mean, look at this scoring ticker, top left, almost 3.5 seconds to Richardson, who's behind them in third. Right there, you saw him pop around the corner as they work off White's corner, coming back to start finish. And then fourth on back is 14 seconds, 20 seconds to Nichols. That's your top 5. These 2 trucks, Jeff, definitely continuing to set the pace. But mind you, lap traffic is dead ahead. And as a driver like yourself, you've got to be mindful of the people racing you, your teammate, as you said, but also trying to figure out how to get around these lap trucks, because they're not just going to, you know, bow out and move out of the way.
Absolutely. And, you know, as these guys try to get through this lap traffic, the leaders are going to have a harder time getting through lap traffic than anybody following them. So, as our producer well knows, sometimes it's easier to follow a truck through lap traffic than it is to lead the line through lap traffic. But Richardson's really been closing the gap on these guys the last couple laps. He's knocked about a half second off, and it's not because of lap traffic. So, I'm kind of interested in seeing if these guys are just intentionally slowing down to save a little fuel and gas, or if Richardson's just been saving a little bit here towards the end of this fuel run.
And I think, Brockton, that they're a fan of MC Hammer.
Because they can't touch this.
You caught that. Very good.
I got you on that one.
I was trying to say, my goodness, I'm telling how old I am again, but I'm glad you caught that.
No, it's all right, Wesley. I got you. But one thing I did want to touch on with the top three here is if you watch Medina and Gargaro, they are... Oh, we got car off track.
73, Gilbert. Gilbert off track, saves it, no harm, no foul, keeps on going. You were saying, Brockton.
Yeah, these two, the top two drivers right now, the 2 and the 4, both very controlled under braking and on exit. They're not sliding, they're not pushing it very far. I think this is a fuel strategy. They know they have the tires as the 70 goes off course there. And, oh, right in front of another car. I think that's, who is that there? Is that Hercules?
Well, that's Brian Scrivener, high class racing entry number 70. And I think that was the Scrivener entry, and that was Ken Luong that just went by him, the 295. There is Ken Luong. Yeah.
I think that might have been Harkins that went by the 70 there, who's still in this race. So kudos to him for getting this one out, just trying to get everything he can. Practice is good as we're coming into the S's here, Wesley, with the top.
And closing in on halfway. And Brockton, and remember, Ken Took Long is also a European driver. He competes on the European circuit. He's already ran his national points race for the Major Series, but the invitation is extended, per se, the olive branch, as I believe we got green flag pit stops going on. Trosson on the pit lane for Dog Bear Racing, but this is not a wild card, so you're able to race, right? You're able to run, right? Oh, so I understand this is not a wild card race. So you can this race is not a wild card race, but other previous races you could have different the pro, the European, and then American Sportsman. You could run either or all. So I just want to clarify on that. But I had a feeling Ken Tuck Long had ran with us before as a European driver, but maybe he has now moved over to the American Sportsman bracket.
You were thinking of last month at the dirt track. Long was with the American Sportsman last week as well.
Yeah.
Or last month as well.
Green flag pit stops. I love the sound of the horn, by the way. Every time a truck comes down to the pit lane like Stephen Paulison, you hear the horn. Oh, in the grass.
There it is. I was waiting for it to happen. Nick Horthath, that truck was just not happy on the long run. He should have probably come in a lap or two before to cut his losses, but now he's sitting backwards. Got that going, though. Doesn't look to me like he's got any damage on the truck, so that's lucky. As we're getting more green flag pit stops, Wesley, it's all coming out.
For Team Evolve, obviously, as we're approaching after halfway, Jeff Stabnow, the Lizard, just became the lawnmower man.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm seeing a lot of cars hitting that grass right now. There's a lot of guys. I think Murphy Nichols just crashed again. I've got another feed up. I've seen quite a few guys go off on Moss Corners.
Pit road, might I add. Look at that. He literally crashed coming to the pits. Jeff, as we begin halfway, second half of the Canadian Chevrolet Silverado 250 here, and halfway in this race for the trucks, they're making green flag pit stops. I didn't even ask you this question. How hard is it entering onto pit lane, much less on pit exit? It seems easier than not, but We just saw what happened to Nichols. As you being a driver and a former winner here, how do you enter going onto this track?
Well, as I said at the top of the show there, it's really a tough pit entrance. You don't have a lot of rundown space. And so you're coming into that, you're coming right into, I think it's number 10 there, White's corner, and you're just ducking off right before the corner. You can see it right there, just a short little duck off. And you're on the brakes hard. You've got to get down to, I think, 35 miles an hour in an incredibly quick amount of time. And with those old tires, man, it's tough.
And you just saw, Jeff, as you reiterated on Brockton, how sharp of an entrance onto that pit lane that is for those drivers as the leaders are coming down pit lane.
This pit lane is arguably one of the toughest pit roads to get slowed down for. You're in the middle of the S's. You've got to take White's corner even sharper than it already is. That 90-degree corner becomes a tighter radius 90-degree corner. You got to slow down. You got to make sure you don't fly off into nowhere. And ooh, that was a good stop by our leaders.
Look at that. In unison, Jeff Stab now. They enter the pit lane 1 and 2. They exit the pit lane almost in unison, flawlessly off their pit stop 1 and 2. Oh, and by the way, they still have the lead when they come back onto the racetrack here for the 2 and the 4 for vengeance.
Yeah, it's almost like they've been practicing that. And I'll tell you, exiting pit road's no picnic either here, because you come out of there with tires that don't have any heat into them, and you immediately have that left hammer that's a little bit off camber, and it's cresting that hill, and it's really easy to get light on that rear end when you don't have any heat on those tires. So that first corner coming out of the pit road can be quite challenging too for a lot of these guys, even with their fresh tires.
Lap 34, they're working of 64, closing in on 30 laps to go here tonight. All this ongoing with green flag pit stops, definitely. Medina, Gargaro, Richardson, McClure, Kotska. Top 5 as it stands, green flag pit stops. I mean, that just shows you how good that team is, obviously, Brockton. You entered the pits, you dominated this race, you come back on the racetrack. Oh, and by the way, you still pull out in front of Richardson by about a second and a half, and you're still in the lead.
Yeah, excuse me, the way they were able to make that happen and keep the lead, keep the gap is quite amazing. As we got I think that's the 84 of Richard McClure in pit road, taking his first pit stop. But as I was saying, Wesley, those guys choreographed that to perfection, in and out, quick. Had one of the fastest pit stops at a 15:02. So these guys got this thing down pat.
Whoa, hold on, buddy. Matt Gelder off course, 69. Everyone else reels him in. Gelder falling back outside the top 20. And that 69 machine 1 lap down. By the way, there is now only 17 trucks on the lead lap. And all of this happening after a cycle of green flag pit stops. And I'll be honest with you, Jeff, it did not really bunch up. The field is more closer together than I thought it was going to be. I figured it would be all widespread around this racetrack course, but that's not the case.
No, and Richardson's done a great job of closing up that gap. He was kind of, I thought maybe he was going to make a move there a few laps ago on the 4 there of Gargaro, but I think we got a 3-car breakaway. Then it's quite, not as spread out as you would have thought, but then again, there's a lot of lap traffic in here too.
Brian Schriffner now being passed by what is the fastest truck on the course here right now on lap number 35, and that is the PC Racer Ford entry, with that special 911 Tribute Ford of the 55 of Nichols. Murphy Nichols currently in the number 5 spot. And for the most part, Brockton, he's stayed comfortably in the top 5 in most of this entire race so far.
Yeah, Nichols has done a very good job of having minimal action tonight. He's had his couple offs tonight, but overall, he's kept the truck very clean with that special tribute paint scheme, and he's stuck it quite solidly in that top 5, I'd say, when he's got a 7-second gap to go million.
As there goes the Nichols truck again, as we mentioned, fastest truck on track right now, but He's got to run down Richardson. He's got to run down the leaders. He's about 18 seconds, actually, correction, 30 seconds back. All of this happening. Header fire on the truck for sure. Another truck in trouble. Again, number 70, high class, Brian Shrivner. Shrivner going off course in his Toyota. Now right back out on again. If you're just joining us for the Major Series, welcome to round 11 here tonight for the American Sportsman. The Major Series presented by Majors Garage. This is the trucks, the Canadian Chevrolet Silverado 250 at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. I'm Wesley Outland, Brockton Packard, Jeff Stabnow. A few more minutes as we join him. Charles Wooten on the production of this program. And remember, coming up in 2 weeks from tonight, it is the night after the real event, the virtual Valley Star Credit Union 300 late model race right here, Martinsville, late model stocks. I'm looking forward to that one. I hope we have a big turnout of cars for that race. You got to love late model stock cars. Jeff, you need to come run that race there next, coming up in 2 Sundays. Sunday, September 25th.
Man, I'd love to, man. That sounds like a great race. I love some short track.
Fun on the paperclip, as they say, for sure. Definitely. All that going on there. Well, listen, I'm hoping I'm keeping up at your right time. We're coming up on 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. You're Mountain Time in Billings, Montana. So what is that, 7 p.m. Eastern for you? Or no, well, I just messed it up. 7 p.m. Mountain Time. So I know you said you got to leave here at the top of the hour. So Jeff, it's been fun. It's been a pleasure you joining us in the booth, man. And haven't done it in a while. You need to do it again sometime. Always enjoyed talking with you.
I appreciate you guys making me look bad, or letting me make you look bad.
I'm understanding he wants to do the 6-hour race with us in October 15th. There you go.
No.
Jeff, I'll give you my mic, and if you give me your helmet, I'll run that. Y'all can watch that happen.
Jeff has joined us before on the 6-hour broadcast before. You know, he actually says jokingly several times, man, I'm not no good. I'm going to leave it to you professionals. But when Jeff gets in the booth, he actually does really well. Well, Jeff, it's been fun, man. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us, bud. And good luck tomorrow night at Auto Club for the playoffs. I mean this, you're going to need it.
I am, and thanks for having me, guys. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Guys, we're coming up on the top of the hour. We'll pause for 10 seconds of radio identification. We'll probably go side by side also to pay a commercial break, and we'll take you to the finish. This is the Major Series, presented by Majors Garage, iRacing, on LSRTV and on the Community Radio Network. Medina, Gargaro, Team Vengeance, can you touch this? They're leading the way here in Canada.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
It's broadcast personality Wesley Outland up topside at one of the great racetracks of the world, the Caraway Speedway. And I'd like to remind you to join us every Wednesday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern to 3 p.m. Eastern with coverage of Finish Line, where we talk to everybody from NASCAR to grassroots, like right here at Caraway Speedway. Carolina's Fox Sports Radio affiliates, iHeartRadio, and on the Community Radio Network at 87.5 FM. And remember, thanks to Live Sim Racing Productions, you can actually see the guest panel, ask their questions, get interactive with us with comments and so much more in our chat box. Finish Line every Wednesday. Join us every week.
Your CRN, my CRN, our CRN. We are CRN. The Community Radio Network now and the new WCRN 87.9 FM. And still always anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN. Welcome to the Community Radio Network. Follow us always via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the new CRN 87.9 and still anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
"25 laps to go." Thanks for Jeff Stabnow joining us in the broadcast booth. Brockton, it's shootout time, but honestly, can anybody touch this with vengeance? I mean, Medina and Gargaro are just kicking everybody's you-know-what.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think the only person that might have a shot other than Gargaro and Medina is going to be Richardson in that 064, as we're looking at, I believe, the battle between the 27 and the 235 maybe. Those two hard into the braking zone teammates as well, Wesley, as they come into Moss's corner.
Yedio with the 27 truck back there in the top 10. He's got his teammate behind him, Deloach. Fairly quick race for the moment, everybody in the top 10, 41 of 64 laps. Hey, by the way, producer Charles, just to let you know, buddy, to let you know, the Cowboys are playing right now, okay? See. Brockton, who's your team for football, man? Who was your team today for football?
Oh, man. Well,
whoa, Yedio, look out!
Yedio trying to make it down pit road. That
Are
was
we staying?
sketchy.
Are we going? Are we staying? Are we going? I turned right.
That one was close. I bet that... Yeah, that probably had some exchanged words between teammates on that one. But, you know, I'm a Tampa boy, Wesley, so got to root for the home team.
So right now, the teams that y'all hate are playing each other, the Buccaneers and the Cowboys, right? So you're rooting on the Buccaneers, and Charles is rooting on the Buccaneers because he hates the Cowboys.
Whatever works.
My Steelers won today, by the way. Okay, it went into overtime, but they won. Hey, another guy that won. I got to give props to him. Okay, mad props to him, buddy. Congratulations to Bubba Wallace winning tonight. Darrell Wallace Jr. picking up the win in the NASCAR Cup Series playoff race at Kansas. He makes now the 18th different winner in 28 races this season, counting the 26 of the regular season, the 2 in the playoffs. I was at Darlington last week. He won the event today at Kansas, and I must say, hopefully it silences some of the haters or the people that constantly belittle him, because honestly, it wasn't one of those, you wreck, you jump up in front, you win because of weather, like he did at Talladega last October. He had to survive the final 70-some-odd laps of Stage 3 to win the race. Great strategy, great pit strategy, saving his tires, saving his fuel, beating his boss, by the way, for 23-11, Denny Hamlin, today to do it, Brockton. I know you have the same sentiment, so big congrats to Bubba Wallace.
Absolutely. He drove an amazing race, and also want to give some shout-outs to our open-wheeled cousins in the American...
Max Verstappen?
No, I want to shout out Will Power for getting his second championship.
Yeah. Australian Will Power, two-time winner, of course. Picking up the IndyCar Series championship. Definitely. And obviously Max Verstappen, if you woke up early this morning, he won Formula One.
There you go. We now have racing news with Wesley Outland.
And Noah Gragson won 2 weeks in a row for the Xfinity Series. Rain delay at Kansas yesterday. For sure. So, yeah. And John Hunter Nemechek beat Carson Hocevar in the truck race on Friday night. And speaking of trucks, at Canadian Tire.
Wasn't that a nail biter there?
It was, man, and I feel so bad for my friend Portage, Michigan, Carson Hocevar. He can't seem to find a good break, and because of not winning that race, it eliminated him from the playoffs. Even though he finished second, he still didn't have enough points to go on to the next round for the elimination race. So, and I'll tell you, Bristol's going to be fun next week. Bristol. Playoffs, elimination. Our producer says it's gonna be a great race to watch, eating good ice cream. Oh, can we just? Did you literally just do? We are literally watching sheer domination tonight by Team Vengeance and the Chevrolets of Nathan Medina and David Gargaro Jr. I'm just being honest here, Brockton. We're closing in on 20 to go next time by. When do friends become, I don't want to say foes, but when do you say, all right, Nathan, I'm tired of you leading. I want to go up in front. I got a faster truck than you. And teammates begin to race each other for the victory.
You know, if it was any other normal oval track, I'd say 10 to go, but since it's such a big track, I'm going to say 2 or 3 to go, if not in the last corner. But these guys have raced each other for 44 laps now and ran basically identical lap times. Both of them ran 1 minute and 22 second, 0.2 second lap times last lap. So I think they're very evenly matched. If you look at them side by side, it's basically cut and paste on their lines, braking points, throttle control, everything's the same. So I don't know if Gargaro is going to be able to pull anything out, to be honest, Wesley.
But you don't think friends will become foes? You think they'll just hang in there, ride and drive, stay 1 and 2, and Team Vengeance happy?
Well, I think David wants friends to become a little less than friends, but I don't know if he quite has the speed, just because Nathan has normally in the last couple of laps been a little bit faster than David. That's all I'm saying. Statistically speaking, the last couple of laps, Nathan has been the faster truck.
Tomorrow night, don't forget the playoffs kick off on iRacing on LSRTV and simulcast on the Community Radio Network. Round 1 for the Northwest Racing Series Cup Cars Auto Club Trucks Round 1 Thursday night. Auto Club, we've got it for you on CRN for radio and iRacing on LSRTV. Should be a good one. Auto Club, I like Auto Club. I think it's going to be a fun track, fun race.
Yeah, Auto Clubs always produces an amazing race with anything you bring there. Auto Clubs where I got my first career league win, so it holds a special place in my heart for that too. So I'm definitely going to be watching that tomorrow night, doing some homework.
Yeah, I told somebody, I said, man, I just can't believe that we're already in the playoffs. Like, I mean, wow, where did the season go? It's flew by so fast. I've enjoyed working along the way with Justin Prince. Obviously, at one time, Samuel Dyer. Now we have Terry Radford and Jason Rockefeller, and I think it's Tim Moore. Yeah, Tim Moore. All those, and yourself, Brockton. You've jumped in a time or two, so it's been fun working with everybody along the way, and now we decide the champions here. And obviously, for this series, you're in so many different competitive changes of cars, a plethora for the iRacing servers and the tracks, and it's nothing's never the same on the major series. So they really do not have, per se, a playoff points battle, if you will, a reset. And, you know, I say, Brockton, I'm fine with that because you're not running the same vehicle every week, every month, every 2 weeks. You're running different classes of racing, and I think it makes it really, really fun. And honestly, for these teams and these drivers, for that matter, because there's 3 championships up for grab for the American Sportsman on the Major Series, the National, the Legends, and the driver teams and the team standings, you have got to figure these vehicles out, race in, race out, and be competitive. And I think they're doing just that.
Yeah, to me, I look at the Majors Series as, oh, we got a car around, it's a 913, big hit. Stephen Harkins hard into the wall. He's going to wait.
And that's not the first time Harkins has had problem lying. Took out the back end of his truck. He says, I've had enough. Any for your thoughts, Chief?
That was a tough break for him. Just trying to finish out the race. He was 4 laps down, but just a tough situation for the 913 of Stephen Harkins there. But as I was saying, Wesley, this to me is kind of like the old IROC series where you have drivers from all over competing in very different cars to what they're used to driving and different tracks than what they're used to driving. So with the major series changing every month, week to week, all that kind of stuff, this is where you truly find the best of the best. You can go to a not to poke fun at anybody, but let's say a S&B Cup Series, and you've got the guys that are running Cup Series cars every week, week in and week out. They're going to be fast in those cars, but you put them in a truck at Canadian Tire, they're not going to be as fast. So for, let's say, Medea to have such a dominant run tonight, it just shows that he is a well-rounded race car driver that knows how to get it done.
I'm sorry, I just had to respond to our our producer is eating ice cream while we're on the air, and I had to do the famous Days of Thunder gift to send back to our communication chat. So, ice cream. What'd you say, Charles? Oh, here it is.
Already going.
You gotta love that gift though that I just sent you. So. Ew. All right, there's a 22 truck of McSparran. He is the last truck, by the way, on the lead lap. He is 11th. Everyone else on back is a lap down. 17 laps to go. Playoffs tomorrow night, Monday and Thursday for the Northwest Racing Series. We've got, of course, coming up in the month of October, Season 2 of the Crown Jewel E Late Model Stock Car Series. I'm looking forward to that. We also have, in 2 weeks, on Sunday night, September the 25th, the day actually after the Real Valley Star 300 is the late model race here for the Major Series. All this cool stuff going on, man. We're not done yet as we in summer, moving to fall. We got you covered. There's 235, Robert DeLoach. Had some problems earlier in the race, Brockton, but right now he's got a solid top 10 finish coming up in the 9th spot.
Yeah, Wesley, Robert DeLoach, Matt Sulsler, and our guy back there in the 22, Jason McSpartan, all actually fighting for that 9th position. About to go a lap down here in the next couple of laps, though. But these guys fighting for that top 10 spot, all nose to tail, and have kept their trucks fairly clean, actually, throughout this race, with 16 laps to go. Oh!
Hold on, Horvath again, off course. The Lizard, there comes the Lawnmower Man. Team Evolve, back Rollins. He's still in the top 15, by the way.
Wesley, I don't know if you should call it the Lizard skin as much as the grass clippings paint scheme now, with how much grass is on that car.
He's doing some landscaping for Jeff.
Yeah.
Medina is the leader. Gargaro in second. Richardson third. Kotska Nichols top 5. That's the way it stands right now.
Whoa!
We got one upside down. No caution on his side. Dino Vella, the 36. He just hit the tire barriers and got sideways in the 36 truck. Let's watch the replay. This is worth the replay. What do you think?
He has had a tough night. That truck was on its last leg to begin with.
Yeah.
We're coming down the Mario Andretti straightaway into the S's. This could be interesting. I'm not sure, actually. Was this coming into the pits? I think I heard our producer say it was.
I think this is off White's corner, coming off of White's corner here.
Off White's, he's going wide.
Yeah, look at this.
Here. Oh, big hit.
Hey, buddy, there's tires there.
He's probably a little upset with the 4 under him, so tried to put him on the tire wall.
And Paulison, I'm understanding, spun out while we were showing the replay. He didn't flip, though. Now back to the leaders with 15 laps to go here in the Chevrolet the Canada. Let me make sure I clarify that. The Canada Chevrolet, the Canada Silverado 250. Yes.
There we go.
Getting tongue-tied, man. Sorry. The Canada Silverado 250.
Now,
which, by the way, Chevrolet didn't give us any money for the race sponsorship. Now, to give the Major Series money, I don't know. What happened, eh?
I want to point out here something. I sat in on the drivers' meeting before the start of the race and specifically pointed out was lap cars needed to be communicating with the faster drivers, telling them where they were going to go so we don't have any unfortunate incidents. As we're watching our leaders try and battle through this top 10 battle.
I don't think they got the memo.
I don't think so either, as they're sitting right on the racing line. That's allowing Richardson to close the gap from about 3 seconds back all the way up to a 2.5 seconds, Wesley.
Yes, sir. It was about 3-4 seconds back for Richardson, and now he has cut it to a 2.5 seconds, and he gets around that lap truck right there in front of him. You're back in business if you get around Horvath. So, yeah, all this going on, and we might see a 3-truck battle for the finish. Mad Sim Racing is coming.
Oh. Finally getting past the 93. Medea puts his sights on the number, is that the number 84 or the number 235? It's the 235 in front of Medea, trying to put all the way up to 9th a lap down, Wesley. These guys have been absolutely dominant tonight in every aspect.
All of this going on. Medina, Gargaro, Richardson, Kotska, Nichols, top 5. And honestly, it's been that way almost the entire race tonight in the Canada Silverado 250 here at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. And now it's like clear a path. Here come the lap trucks. They go to the left, park the Red Seas, leaders to driver right, and they bypass them all with 13 to go, Brockton.
Yeah, and now Richardson has to make quick work of this 93 car, and man, he has been a tough one to pass for everyone trying to pass him. Just trying everything he can, going to drivers right, not quite going to get there, as we've got the leaders trying to pass the 382 of Horvath, or excuse me, the 250, excuse me, numbers are hard today, Wesley. The lap truck of the 235, there we go.
Side by side, the Loach got the driver right, 93 of Sisler. And these drivers, even though they're a lap down, they're fighting for the top 10. And they're fighting for position. Off the White's corner coming to the start-finish line. A dozen laps remain, 12 to go here at CTMP. And if you don't know what CTMP stands for, it is abbreviated for what, Brockton?
Canadian Motorsports Park, Wesley.
You forgot tire. Hey.
Well, as a tire man, I feel a little upset on that, so my apology.
All good. It's all good. Got our producer sending me orange gifts now. I don't understand the reason. Oh, he tells me he's eating oranges. He goes from junk food to health food. Okay, I see.
Man,
at least they're two.
If you want a nice low-key job, go be a producer. You can eat the whole time while we're out here talking for 2.5 hours straight,
exactly.
Wesley.
Here we are.
Man.
Yeah, exactly. He's teasing us with food. Ice cream. Yes.
Ice cream and oranges. Baby.
We're lucky we can have a sip of water.
Yeah.
That's right. We do DoorDash our food. You're exactly right. I do break chairs. Oh, 12, 11 to go. This is the best battle, is what we're being told. It's the lap trucks.
It's
going
the battle
at it.
for 10th.
The Loach and McSperrin just got around Sisler, and now Sisler got around the Loach. And all this is happening for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, with Horvath also in that mix, and they are trucks a lap down, but they're racing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the top 3, and then 9th, 10th, and 11th are the closest we got on the track right now, which is quite interesting. These guys are running pretty good lap times, but it just shows the pure dominance of that top 3 of Medea, Galgaro, and Richardson. Oh,
By the
speaking
way,
of Richardson.
oh, look out!
Richardson
Sisler up
spun
the
out.
track. Oh, yeah, he did. Oh, wow, what a save by the Loach.
Oh, they hit. Oh, man.
Look at this, 3 wide. Boy, oh boy, I think they're mad at one another. The Loach is going after him. All the while, McSperrin is just like, you know what, man, I'm just going to hang back right now. I'm going to stay out of trouble. You guys just, you do you, as they say, and I'm going to pass you all when y'all take each other out.
Yeah, speaking of, he's going to try to do it through turn 10 here. White's corner not quite going to get the run off. But that was very interesting, Wesley. Richardson loses all of that time. That's got to be a hard pill to swallow from.
And then there were 10 laps to go here as Sisler cocks his truck sideways again at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. 10 remaining in the Canada Silverado 250, round 11 here tonight for the Major Series, powered by Majors Garage, American Sportsman Division. We're going to Martinsville in 2 weeks. There goes the 22 now. Driver left. He makes a run inside. DeLoach can't get him in. Closes him off. And all the while this goes on now, Brockton, we see DeLoach, Sisler, and McClure pull away from them.
Yeah, and speaking of Sisler, he is up 11 positions off the start. He is currently our biggest mover tonight. He has done a heck of a job clawing from 21st all the way back up to the 8th place position. He's done a very good job.
By the way, Brockton, I don't know how much you follow the silly season still going on for Kyle Busch, but he has finally said that his announcement is coming on September the 13th.
There we go.
So, I know the answer. I know exactly where he's going, and I've called it since the get-go. But, yeah, announcement coming. No, he's going to RCR. That's all I'm going to tell you. I've known for a while. He did what now? What did you say? Don't listen to him. Medina, Gargaro 1 and 2, Richardson in 3rd. Totska Go Million, top 5. But yes, official announcement coming to NASCAR, former NASCAR Cup Series champion Kyle Busch on Tuesday. Brockton, I'd be hard-pressed to say, buddy. I know you're a Carolina boy like me, man, and you know I was a part of the announcing team at North Wilkesboro Speedway. How stoked are you to hear that, you know, we've got, with under 10 laps to go, 9 remaining, the Medina Gargaro still 1 and 2, Vengeance team out in front, but the NASCAR All-Star race going to be at North Wilkesboro coming up in May of next year.
You know, Wesley, I am absolutely thrilled about it. I was lucky enough to go do the last Cars Tour race there just a couple weeks ago. Yeah, that was an awesome event. I've never been to anything like that before. I've been to Daytona, Indianapolis, all those crown jewel events, but nothing like North Wilkesboro. I cannot wait to see the next-gen cars next year on that surface. I think it'll be an absolute amazing event to watch.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun for sure, no doubt about it. And hands down, looking forward to whatever it is that I get to have a part of being on. But I know there's a lot of people disappointed that they didn't do the dirt side of it. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you the powers that be that needed to be there to help make the decisions to bring in the All-Star race were all in agreement, even out of the gates of the first race whenever they done the modifieds. And it was Brockton. Man, this track, even though it's abrasive, it's still in good conditions. Holy cow, I can't believe that it's still in the shape that it's been on, and it's not been raced on in over 30 years, except one time in a past race 20 years ago. Wow, I mean, I can't believe, you know, or 12, 13 years ago, I guess is what it would be, because it's 2010 when they ran the past race. You know, there's just such a, like you said, Brockton, there was such a vibe, and there's such an electricity and a fire by the fans, by the people that want that place back open again. And now we need to somehow bring that ignition and spark to Rockingham and get Rockingham back up in the graces of opening again too. Oh no,
news.
Understanding Nichols truck, Murphy Nichols, 55, internet crashes on the number 55 machine that we had for our truck tribute for 9/11 on lap 11. And he is out of the race here now. And by the way, 7 laps to go. Hasn't nothing changed? Richardson can't run back down Team Vengeance. I'm just waiting for a bump and run between Gargaro to Medina. But right now, they're all playing possum. Whoa!
Whoa! Whoa.
Deloche, McSparron says, I've had enough. Get out of my way.
Yeah, that was a close one on the front end of those two trucks. Looks like McSperrin might have gotten a little tail happy, or I don't know. That was very interesting to kind of see that play out. But as we were saying, Wesley, that was such an electric atmosphere, and I think Rockingham, it's only a matter of time with the amount of hype around Wilkesboro. I'm sure it's going to be a great race, a great atmosphere, and we might even see some old faces in some maybe not so old places.
Oh, for sure. I already know for a fact that Jimmy Johnson has his eyes on the radar to try to come and run. So, obviously, there's kind of loopholes in the all-star race that you don't see in regular points races. To the line, 6 laps to go here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. And Medina is leading half a second now over his teammate, David Gargaro Jr. Strategy of just teammates respecting one another, not being aggressive, being patient. I've not seen any crazy driving by these guys tonight. Obviously, they've been 1 and 2, but you know what I'm saying, Brockton? No desperate turns, no heavy braking, no making crazy, you know, unmental errors are not happening for the first top 2 trucks right now on the track. It's been that way the entire course as we're approaching in the 5 to go next time by.
I could not agree more, Wesley. These guys have run a mistake-free, drama-free race. Their driving has been smooth and consistent. Braking, they haven't really locked up the tires very much, haven't slid the tires. They have kept these trucks in pristine condition through almost 60 laps now, and it's quite impressive just to watch this as they just run away with this one.
And I want to give a shout out real quickly to my buddy Hunter Alexander Hansen. He is the flag man at Wake County Speedway, and he also is a little connoisseur of iRacing, and he is tuned into the Major Series, enjoying it, having fun, and watching. Thank you, Hunter. And by the way, championship night at Wake County Speedway will be this upcoming Friday night for the Capital Chrysler Jeep Dodge. And, yeah, I wish we could, Charles. It will be on the Community Radio Network, though, simulcast after football. We've got football for you Friday, Fuquay Arena, Clayton, and I'll be there at Wake County Speedway. As soon as that game is over, we will have coverage flag to flag of the championship night. And Hunter Alexander will be up in the flag stand. 5 to go, and the teammates say, can't touch this. Never mind, Brockton. I was trying to...
I got where you're throwing it to, but I just wanted to texted our producer here, Cody Wooten, in the booth to get us a shot of the 4 on board with him so we can hear the throttle and braking inputs and how smooth they've been driving this track. So let's take about half a lap here and just listen as they come off of turn 10, White's corner.
Yeah, look how smooth that is. 4 to go. 60 laps in now. Home stretch, here we go to the end. About 12 miles from home to the checkered flag for these drivers for Team Vengeance. Medina out in front, looking for another win on the series. Listen to how smooth that truck is. The ride for David Gargaro. I mean, literally. And I bet you if you go on board with the leader of Medina, it sounds exactly the same way. They just figured this place out tonight here, and they didn't race aggressively. And that you ask, you shall you receive. This is on board with Medina from the front to the back of the tailgate.
Yeah, you can hear it in their steering inputs. There's no squealing of the tires, no over revs, no pushing the car. They are just driving as smooth as they can, and it shows as they've grown that lead from just a couple seconds between Richardson to over 4.5 seconds.
Medina, Gargaro Jr., Richardson, Kotska, Go Million, top 5. There goes the lap down truck cavalry of chaos and mayhem behind them. You like the way I said that? Because that's what it is.
Yeah, there's a bit of a difference between our top 2 and the bottom end of the top 10. They are thrashing these trucks around the side of everywhere they can go, trying to get everything they can, just punishing the trucks as we see. Ooh, the 22 went a little bit wide there, getting everything he can, trying to catch that 93.
Oh, by the way, you see the flag stand that says Monsport International Speedway? At one time it was called Monsport, but they got a sponsor.
There you
and
go.
they paid money. Canadian Tire. That's what it is.
I mean, I sure hope
3 to
that's
go.
what happened.
And they do still to this day call it Monsport. Or Mosport, A. Continental Tire Bridge under the corner, moving back around the Untitled straightaway. Again, like I said, it's amazing how fast they get around this road course here, Brock. It's just, they're coming to the end of this thing here. Already moving through White's corner, Clayton corner. I remember one time Jeff Stabnow was leading the race, and I don't know what I did. I actually tried to interview him. I was pit reporting for the Northwest Racing Series before I got to the booth, and I said, hey, Jeff, you're doing good. He said, don't talk to me, Wesley, I just crashed. And then he came in, I think it's right here in this corner, as a matter of fact, off White's corner, or Moss corner. And I mean, darn if he didn't come back and win the race. He did, he won. But if he would have wrecked, I don't think that would have been good. 2 to go. For the most part, I must say, Brockton, it's been an entertaining race. Been fun for caution-free.
Yeah, caution-free. Oh, look out. That's a change for position there. The 22s of McParson slips on the inside of the 93 of Silsler. It's got a little too wide there. Almost got in the grass, but kept it out of the grass and able to salvage what looks to be a 9th place so far.
I thought it was a good race. I mean, you know. Are you not entertained?
No, I think this is a pretty good race. Although it's a little spread out, we've seen strategy play out. We've seen a car upside down, which is normally not something you see at a road course. You've seen a lot of stuff happen in a fairly short amount of time. Speaking of a car in the grass, that's the 74 Daniel Howard.
Dog Bear Racing entry, Howard with a problem. Oh, look out. There goes King Tung Lung. King Tung Lung going around. He saves it on the 44 around again. The 044 Go Million. All this happening now as they come off White's corner. White flag, CRN 1 to go. Final time around for Team Vengeance. Cue up the MC Hammer music, because you can't touch these 2 trucks. They dominated tonight at Canadian Tire. And they have literally just 1 lap away from the finish of this event. I can't believe it, Brockton. It's just, these trucks have just, like you said, did a phenomenal job all night long to be here at the end. And another solid win for Medina, unless something changes. And in addition to that, it will also be a solid run for Vengeance Motorsports on points.
Yeah, coming through the last couple of corners into the S's. Flag to flag, 1 and 2, Nathan Medina and David Gargaro Jr. Wesley, take him through White's.
Oh, this is it as they work their way off of the final turn to turn 9 and 10 off White's corner. Domination, you can't touch these 2 trucks. Vengeance 1 and 2. Nathan Medina the winner. David Gargaro Jr. second. And they just lay the smackdown on every truck in the Canadian Tire Silverado 250 for the Major Series tonight. And look at that. I mean, I don't even think Gargaro's like, you know, mad he got second. He's like, yeah, look, we're teammates. We're in this together. We ride together. We die together. Ride or die. They're 1 and 2. What a solid run. And I got to give props also to Cody Richardson, also finishing in 3rd on the podium. We'll talk to them here in a bit in the post-race wrap-up. But, you know, Brockton, there were a couple of times he fell back, lost ground on them. He was able to still run them back down at the finish and finish on the podium in 3rd.
Yeah, in the last 4 laps, Richardson cut that gap 2 seconds. He ended up finishing 2.5 seconds roughly behind these 2 Vengeance trucks. So that's a very strong performance by all 3 of these drivers who survived Canadian Tire Motorsports Park to bring it home 1st, 2nd, and 3rd respectively.
And for Team Vengeance, there is the results there. Nathan Medina is the winner. David Gargaro right there with him in 3/4 back, second spot. 2 seconds back for Cody Richardson. Andrew Kotska, 30 seconds back, will finish in 4th. Almost a minute back in 5th, Maurice Gomillion. And Jeff Caramani on the lead lap, though, a minute back in 6th. Everyone else a lap down, including Richard McClure, Jason McSparron, Matt Sisler, Robert DeLoach. We saw that great battle between those lap trucks of chaos and mayhem to round out the top 10 here at Monsport.
Yeah, the rest of these cars are all a lap or more down. 11th, we've got Nick Horvath, Daniel Salem Howard, Chris Yedio, Greg McKinney, Ken Lung, Jason Lutridge, Don Dawson, Stephen Paulson, Matt Gedler, Gerald Gilbert, and rounding out your top 25, Wesley, we've got Brent Thorson, Brian Skerniver, Murphy Nichols, heartbreak for Murphy Nichols with his internet, Stephen Harkins, and Dino Bill.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Murphy Nichols, I think, would have had a pretty good solid run in a top 10 finish, maybe better, because his 55 truck was definitely strong at one time, hanging right there with the top 5 here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. But now at Monsport, they line them up. Team Vengeance, there's the celebration. The most activity we've seen all night long of chaos and mayhem for the celebration of the trucks as they burn it down with donuts.
Donuts, Wesley.
With donuts, and spinning tires and smokes. Nice smoke screen there. It's been a long night. Okay, don't judge me. When it's all said and done, it's Team Vengeance getting the win here. So, and Nathan Medina, another win on the Major Series. We're going to step away. When we come back, we will get ready for what will be the finish line post-race wrap-up, and we will talk to the top 3 here. Get you set for Martinsville. Don't go anywhere. American Sportsman Bracket for the Major Series, powered by Majors Garage, iRacing on LSRTV, and the Community Radio Network. We're back. Welcome back to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park of the Major Series. American Sportsman in the books here tonight in the Canadian Silverado 250. Wesley Outland, Brockton Packard alongside. Thanks for Jeff Stabnow joining us in the first hour of the race. Great work as always by Charles Wooten, Ice Cream Man, running the boards for everything. We're going to talk to the top 3 on the podium. First up, Cody Richardson. Cody, your take of the race. A good solid run there on the podium, but man, it seemed like Team Vengeance was definitely just the pick of the litter. Both trucks were here tonight in Canada.
Yeah, you know, they were really good. Obviously, both qualified on the front row. My teammate and I qualified 3rd and 4th. I think all top 4 finished that way also. I think I might have had something for him there in that last stint. I dipped a tire off coming through Moss, though, and locked it up, got a little bit of a spin, and never could catch back up to him then. I think traffic helped me out in my favor, but Nathan and Dave were both just a little bit too fast for the Mad Sim Racing 064 Silverado tonight.
Cody, you had an amazing race, flag to flag, just a couple dips and bobbles throughout the night. Kind of talk about, as you were speaking of the lap traffic, what was the communication like between drivers tonight?
Really, we more try to communicate with our cars than anything else, you know, show where we wanted to pass. There are some places where it's just difficult, if not downright murderous, to pass, so it was more a lot of give and take. I think lap traffic was pretty nice the entire night, at least on my end. I don't know about the two in front of me. I didn't have much problem. I know they got trapped a couple times, allowed me to catch back up to them, but nothing really too bad. You know, everybody was really nice, a lot of give and take. It's a difficult combination to drive these trucks around for 64 laps. Everybody did it fairly clean from what I could tell.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do you, Cody, adapt from running a Formula One car to an Austrian Grand Prix machine to one of the European-style cars to a dirt mod, the most recent race, and then, of course, a truck tonight, and you get ready for a late model stock car in 2 weeks at Martinsville?
Well, the oval stuff is my bread and butter. These trucks I've driven before. Stock cars on road courses are my bread and butter. It's the Formula style cars and the GT cars that I have more of a problem with than anything else. I think next week the rest of the season's pretty good. The only real question mark on the schedule for us and our team is going to be that the Daytona 2.4, the Legacy 2.4. That's going to be the one that we've got circled as with a question mark on our schedule, but I think you'll see myself and Mad Sim Racing running strong at the next race and the final one as well.
Hey, man, sponsor time. Good, solid run for you, Cody. Thank him out.
Hey, first of all, thanks to all the friends, family that are watching out there for me and everybody else. I want to shout out to my team, Mad Sim Racing. Thanks for having me on there. Got a good third and fourth tonight. Had nothing for those two guys up front, though. Just want to make sure everybody checks out madsimracing.com and intotheapex.com. New podcast every weekend. We've definitely got some good guests where the world of real and virtual auto sport meet. Go give us a check out and a listen.
There you go. No doubt about it. Cody Richardson, Mad Sim Racing, solid podium finish of the top three here tonight at Monsport. We're going to go down to Victory Lane, and I don't know if it's fitting to have both of them talk at the same time or bring them in together because they're both teammates. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to go talk to David Gargaro Jr. first for Vengeance. He's a teammate to Nathan Medina. But, David, congratulations. I mean, obviously, you guys were the two top trucks of the race here tonight, and, I mean, if you could got around Nathan, would you have passed him, or was you just happy, complacent with a solid top two team finish for Vengeance Motorsports tonight?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the finish we ended up getting. I kind of went into this race with a little bit of a real-life racing mindset, and that's, you know, if you can't make a pass clean, probably shouldn't do it, and wasn't really that many good chances to do that with Nathan, and I definitely don't want to jeopardize, you know, the championship battle like that. So I kind of just bided my time. You know, if he made a little bit of a mistake, I kind of gave him a little slack, and it worked out because Cody was just far enough back where it wasn't too much pressure, but we definitely seen him coming.
You guys had an amazing pit stop there at lap 33. Can you guys talk about what preparations you guys did, not only during the race, but also before the race, to have such a great choreographed pit stop?
Yeah, so we knew that we had a target lap that we wanted to hit as far as fuel goes, because it was gonna be close to the end. So we saved at the beginning of the race to make sure we go to that target lap. And you know, we practiced pitting and getting into the pit stall, not speeding, not, you know, missing the stall or whatever. The only thing that we didn't practice, which I realized when I was pitting behind Nate, was I never really pitted that close to Nate in practice, so I couldn't even see my pit box. I kind of had to eyeball it last second. But other than that, I mean, we still made the stop right, and we came out right where we came in, so pretty happy with that.
Yeah, pretty good, solid run for David Gargaro Jr., man. And I got to ask you, you know, you know, if the shoe was on the other foot, do you think Medina would play nice and stay in second, not move you out of the way that you respected him, if you were the guy in the lead getting the win today?
Yeah, I'd say he would. That's kind of part of my decision. The other part of my decision is I'm going to see this guy every day at work. So if I do something crazy, it wouldn't be too great at work. So
Gotcha.
so it was kind of one of those situations, and he's a good friend of mine, so there was no need to try anything crazy. And honestly, at the dirt track last race when I was in the lead and he was second, he was kind of telling me, don't worry about what's going on back here. Just keep running. So I appreciated
Had
that.
your
And that's
back,
why
man. Kind of like a Maverick and Goose. Kind of like a Maverick and Goose type deal for Top Gun here for Team Vengeance. Dave, one more question. Segue that into your sponsors. What's your take going into the big late model race at Martinsville in 2 weeks, man? You think you could win this thing?
Yeah, I mean, this is the one that I've had circled on my calendar since the beginning of the year. This is the one I'm most excited about. I race short track cars in real life, so this is short track and in iRacing, so I'm really excited. And then, of course, we have one more road course and one more, bigger oval after that with the next-gen cars. So I'm looking forward to it. Just want to thank my team, Rob, Jimmy, Jeff, Earl, Nate, and even the Evolve guys for all the help that they gave us this week, too. And, that's about it. And we'll see you at Martinsville.
Martinsville, Sunday night, September 25th. We'll have it for you. iRacing on LSRTV and on the Community Radio Network. And that is David Gargaro Jr. for Team Vengeance. It's one of the two trucks that nobody could touch this here tonight at Monsport. Let's go to Victory Lane and Nathan Medina, another win. What domination here, bud. Yeah, I mean, I have to say, like I said, we could have had you guys talking together at the same time because it's kind of win-win for both of y'all. But you crossed the line first, your take of this race, and what great strategy you had, bud. Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, me and Dave knew that we had a slight pace advantage, but we're unsure of, about saving fuel, how much that was going to knock off our pace. If it was going to cause us to lose spots, or is it going to cause us to have battles? We wanted to avoid that, but we realized even while saving fuel that we were kind of pulling away from the field, and we were trying to make sure we hit our target lap, and also in maybe a little cushion, a little bit past our target lap as far as fuel, so that we knew for the last stint there would be no fuel saving in mind. We know we'd have enough fuel, which we did end with a gallon, which is 2 laps extra. So we knew that Cody Richardson was going to come hard, but we didn't want to be in a position where we had to save fuel while also defending someone who's coming pretty fast.
Now, you talk about a little bit of some strategy plays, but let's talk about kind of how the track changed as we're looking on our feed here. We see the rubber buildup and things like that. How did the truck progress throughout the race? Did it progress to the tight side, or did it progress mostly to the loose side?
Well, honestly, the beginning of the race, it was absolutely it was very slick. I mean, lap times were quick because it was fresh tires, but it was very slick, and these trucks are very sensitive to track state more than track temp. What we realized, obviously both play a huge factor, but if you had to choose one side, more rubber is more grip. So as the race went on, you would think that it would be a lot slick or very tight. It was still perfect. We were hitting our marks. It was just as far as saving your left rear or your left front, because that's what usually gets eaten up the most here. And I was deciding I'd rather use my left front more. I was diving into some corners pretty hard than using up my left rear, because just like what happened to Cody, I know he caught some grass and he spun, but I was afraid through turn 5 that was my weakest point, and I know Dave kept telling me to pick up the pace in that corner so Cody couldn't catch us, but I knew that was my weakest point. I was just afraid to loop it on exiting turn 5 if my left rear was pretty worn down.
Man, if there were places you feared going around that track and it struggled on, we couldn't tell it in the broadcast booth. I mean, it just seemed like your trucks were just definitely the class of the field. And I got to say this, your take going to the Martinsville, do you feel like you can carry that momentum for Team Vengeance in 2 weeks in the late model race?
Yeah, we were actually looking forward, and we look at the schedule every season. We get excited for some tracks, we don't get excited for some tracks, but we're just like, all right, we'll see how that one goes. But Martinsville was definitely one of the ones that caught Dave's attention. This is his strength, biggest strength, and I knew right when I saw that, I'm like, all right, he's probably going to win that, unless someone else catches him, because there's no way I am. I mean, I'm right behind him as far as pace, but he just knows how to save tire in short track racing. I don't know how he does it, but as far as that, I mean, I think me and him have a really good spot to potentially get another 1-2. or at least a guaranteed top 5 between us, as long as we can get through lap traffic and don't get into trouble with anybody we're racing hard.
All right, man. We'll go get them. Hard pressed to say. I know they're kind of the same sponsors on Gargaro's truck as yours, but thank them. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'll give thanks to Vengeance, Evolve, Jeff, James, and Rob, and Earl, and to Dave's statement about would I take that spot. I definitely would have took the spot from him because he's ahead of me in championships. I know we're coworkers, but I definitely wouldn't have played nice if I was in his shoes, given the chance that if he made a mistake to win the race and I finished 1 and he finished 2. So.
There you go. There's the thoughts again of the driver, Nathan Medina, David Gargaro Jr., teammates for Vengeance. Boy, nobody could catch them tonight at Monsport. They're the winners in round 11 here tonight for the Major Series. American Sportsman, powered by Majors Garage of the Canadian the Canadian Silverado 250. Well, Brockton, we're tongue-tied enough, man. You're taking this race, and exciting event at that. But when it's all said and done, Team Vengeance just reigns here tonight at Monsport. Your take of the race, final thoughts, and we'll get off the air here, bud.
Yeah, I think it was a fairly solid race, especially for Vengeance Motorsports. They had 2 of their 3 cars in the top 2, so you can't really be upset with that. A lot of good strategy calls, a couple unfortunate events that happened with some technical difficulties, but it's part of sim racing. So you get some of those tough breaks, and then the universe of netcode will pay you one back. So I enjoyed every minute up here with you, Wesley, and I can't wait for a couple more weeks. And we get to do it all over again in a new place, and a new track, and a new car. It'll be fun.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. By the way, hopefully our buddy Terry Radford will be able to join us finally in the Major Series broadcast booth. He has been feeling under the weather. Hopefully he gets to feel in better and can join us again. The next event for the Major Series, American Sportsman, will be on Sunday night, September the 25th. That is 2 weeks from tonight. It is a 300-lap race. Now, of course, I'm thinking they're going to do the 425-lap heat races that set up the lineup for that big 200-lap late model race that all culminates. Hopefully, we cover the entire 300 laps for you. We cannot wait to get to Martinsville, the paperclip. It is the night after the real Valley Star 300. And, of course, we're looking forward to that one. We'll have it for you simulcast. iRacing on LSRTV and the Community Radio Network. Tomorrow night, iRacing on LSRTV and Community Radio Network will have coverage of round 1 of the playoffs for the Northwest Racing Series. Cup Cars and Auto Club. Of course, Thursday night, the trucks. All of that coming up on the way. Hope you can join us, as always, at LSRTV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. LiveSimRacingTV.com, at CRN Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, at CRN. We are CRN.com. In the Major Series and MajorSeries.com. Thanks to Jeff Stabnow for joining us earlier in the broadcast booth for about the first hour. Always great catching his driver commentary dialogue. And, of course, phenomenal job by the boss of Rocket Media, iRacing on LSRTV, keeping it going. Producer, also Charles Wooten along the way, handling the entire production as well. For Brockton Packard, I'm Wesley Outlook. Congratulations to Team Vengeance. Gargaro, Medina, dominating here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Be good to one another. Have a great start to your week. We'll see you in 2 weeks at Martinsville, the paperclip of mayhem, the late models for the Major Series. It will be fun, and we'll have